Hi everybody, thanks for tuning into the Denison Sports Network. I'm Craig Hicks, and today I'm joined by Denison men's lacrosse coach Mike Caravana, who is entering his 23rd season with the Big Red, as we just about ready to kick off the 2016 season in Granville. Now, Coach, coming off a 13-4 season last year, and the team got really close, lost in overtime in the NCAC championship, and that kept us out of the NCAA tournament. But we're back in the preseason top 20 again. That's kind of become the norm around here. Can you just talk about this year's team's, drive to get back to the NCAAs where you've become accustomed to going?
Sure. Well, for us, those are the expectations we have to compete for a conference title and to compete for a national championship, certainly. I think last year at the end of the season, after we kind of had some bad weather issues early in the season and had some injuries, certainly by the end of the season, we were clearly an NCAA playoff caliber team. We just had 2 one-goal losses to our arch rival Ohio, who ended up being 3rd or 4th in the country. So we were happy with how the season ended last year in terms of the growth that we had, and knowing that we have a lot of players coming back for this season, we're optimistic about our future, and hopefully if we continue to work hard and find a little good fortune, that we should be back again competing for the conference title and being in the NCAAs.
I know one thing that's very different. Last year when we sat in here and did this interview, there was about a foot of snow on the ground. We had terrible weather. You didn't actually play outside lacrosse till your 2nd game of the season when you played at Roanoke, I believe. First game was in a dome. Now you're outside, you're getting some good work in. It's about 50, 45 degrees. It's kind of nice. Can you just talk about how beneficial that is to be able to get outside at the start of the season?
Sure, question. It certainly helps us, dramatically to be able to make sure that we're prepared as well as we can, especially with, 2 of our bigger early season games versus southern foes, both Washington, Lee, and Roanoke, where the weather obviously is less of an issue. So we have to, get that practice time if we can, and let's not just say that, we want to make sure people understand that we have a beautiful opportunity to practice in the Mitchell Center. It is a nice facility, but it is a hard surface, and so we really can't go full field in there. So that hurt us a little bit last year in that we weren't really battle tested so much and battle ready to be able to play those 2 teams that are certainly very strong and kind of set the precedent for our national opportunities. So hopefully so far the weather will hold up. We still got a little bit time left. Everybody that understands the weather in the Midwest especially knows it could change overnight, but I think it looks good for the next couple of weeks, so we feel better about our preparation going into those games.
And you got to feel good about the returning talent that you have on this year's team. You've got a lot back. You got Blair Farrenhold, Eric Baumgartner, 2 returning All-Americans. Can you just talk about some of the returnees on this year's squad?
Yeah, I mean, again, when you go through, we had a little bit of a drop-off last year between injuries and seniors graduating, but when you win 19 games, you're going to have some of that. Again, I thought we ended up having a really good season last year. I think the growth of our players was easily seen as the season went on. They've worked hard. Their aspirations are still the same as we talked about for the conference championship and play for an NCAA championship. And so, they've been good leaders so far, Blair and Eric especially, but we have 3 other seniors that are leaders as well, a group of 9 seniors and juniors now that are back abroad, with 90% of them going abroad in the fall. We kind of miss them there, but they actually coming back now 2nd semester kind of infuse a great passion to the team. It kind of they're reinvigorated. They only have 2 seasons left to play. So we're very optimistic about that. We have some very good freshmen as well, 3 or 4 freshmen that are going to challenge for playing time. So our better teams in my years here have always really gained their advantage by our practice habits and our ability to be able to say that the depth of our team is pretty strong. So when we can practice at a high level of both intensity and performance, it's going to help us perform well on the field. And so we feel that way too. So not only the returning experience that we have, but the younger guys that have come in are pretty talented players, and that's combined together, I think we're in a good spot to hopefully have another good season.
You talk about that fusion and infusion of some new players. I know you got 19 first years on the roster again this year. And there's always 3, 4 guys that usually get in the mix and make an impact. Can you just talk about that commitment that goes into recruiting an athlete to Denison year-round from you and your staff?
Well, for us, it's a very competitive environment, as you can imagine. We're a school that actually has a pretty diverse community of students from all over the country, both the South and the West really is where Denison has grown the most in my 20 years here so far, in terms of the newer students that have come. Lacrosse has kind of piggybacked that the last 10 to 12 years, where the game has grown both in the South and the West as well. So we've been able to recruit nationally and be able to bring kids here. We have a group of freshmen that are 3 guys. One is from Seattle, Washington, one from San Diego, and one from Las Vegas that are all rooming together in a triple over a Smith. And make a long story short, we couldn't say that 10 years ago, but being as strong a school as we are, having the tradition that we have in lacrosse, we're able to attract those kind of kids. And that really helps us, but it is an ongoing thing, and other schools and other teams are recruiting hard as well as the game grows, and we just hope to keep working hard to get the kids that are right fit here, that seem to fit here both academically, socially, and athletically. And I think we've done a good job of asking them questions, having them find out things that they feel good about their decision to come here. So it's easier for us to pull the best out of them.
Now, I've got my season preview issue of Lacrosse magazine here. It just came in the mail yesterday. And I wanted to talk to you because in here they reference, they liken this year's team a lot to the 2014 team, which ended up winning the first 19 games, going 19-0, going all the way to the Elite Eight. One of the best teams in school history, really. Can you talk about some of those comparisons they're making and what they may see?
Well, I mean, there are comparisons. I mean, but we had a very good team in 2012. If you look at every other year, the last couple of years, we've really had some exceptionally stronger teams. Another Final 18, kind of, and things like that. It seems like that's our cycle so far a little bit. So, I mean, we have a good enough team that I feel like we can beat everybody on our schedule if we play well, and that can give us, put us in the same, realm of teams like the 2014 team. But at the same time, that's a lot to challenge ourselves with. This team, again, it's a little bit of a coaching cliche, but right now, February 3rd, we got to keep getting better. And I think that was the key thing about the team in 2014, is that we kept getting better. But we could score goals in 2014. That was the difference of my teams compared to the other ones that I've had through the years here, is we could score goals easily, much more so than other teams. We're close to that, I think. And we have that same opportunity with this group, with so many kids coming back. And and players that we have like Liam Rooney and Blair and and Eric be able to get us the ball and possess the ball. We have a lot of offensive guys returning, where last year we had a lot of inexperience at that end. But for us to be as good as we can, we need to score goals, but we also need to be steady on defense. We have 2 senior goalies competing for playing time. We need those guys to play good lacrosse, and we need some good steady defense, which we've generally had, and then we'll see where our offensive growth takes over for us and see if we can continue to get better. Because even there, we still have some seniors, but we are still really a junior-oriented team with experience.
Coach talks about good lacrosse. We will have all of the Big Red home games broadcast on DenisonBigRed.com. So for head coach Mike Caravana, I'm Craig Hicks. Thanks for watching the 2016 Big Red season preview.